Hi everyone, very good morning. Thank you for joining with us on this beautiful Sunday morning. A warm welcome to all of you. This is the 10th Glenmore Webinar, and the topic today is How Recent Changes in Taxes Affect You by Damith Gangodawilage. As a formality, let me tell you a little bit about Glenmore Global Resources. Glenmore is a Sri Lankan organization with two strategic partnerships with two international organizations, Harrison's Assessments and Workplace Options. Harrison's Assessment is a well-known psychometric assessment provider and which is used in 61 countries in 38 languages, and it has assessed over 2.5 million people. The other global partner is Workplace Options, WPO USA. WPO is the world's largest privately owned and independent provider of integrated employee well-being solutions. It serves 65 million employees, 100,000 organizations in over 200 countries and territories across the globe, including Sri Lanka. Glenmore represents the Sri Lankan operation, Harrison's as well as for Workplace Options USA. So Glenmore provides end-to-end HR solutions, including HR consultancy and training. Glenmore's business model is different to a traditional consulting organization. That's one major difference from the other organizations in the consulting field. So they assemble the right resources with the right expertise locally or globally, and then deliver sustainable solutions that fit the client organization's need and budget. And through these Glenmore's partnerships with a wider, well-connected network, Glenmore is able to source you the ideal resource person for a comparatively lower cost than what you would pay them individually. That's one major difference in the service Glenmore provides. Once Glenmore conducts a training program, that's the second difference, is it provides a 6 months to 1 year post-training support with the client, and which is free of charge. This is a value addition given to all the Glenmore clients. Glenmore, with its international partnerships, work with small startups to MNCs. So if you want to find out more information about the scope of activities Glenmore does, so please visit glenmore.lk for more details. So then you will find out all this information in the website. This is the 10th and the final Glenmore webinar under New Norm series, which we started in 24th April 2020. For today's discussion, if you have any questions, please use the chat box below, since we mute the microphones. Or you can text it to 0768 031 031. I'll read the number again, 0768 031 031. Or you can mail info@glenmore.lk, info@glenmore.lk. You can send your questions in English or in Sinhala. So for today's topic, how recent changes in taxes affect you, we have invited a subject matter expert for you. He's Deshashakti Lankaputra Vishwabhimani Damith Gangodawilage. Damith Gangodawilage. Damith is a researcher, practicing academic, tax advisor, and an award-winning entrepreneur. He's a vice president of Sri Lanka Institute of Taxation, the national body of tax professionals in the country. And he's the founder and chief compliance officer of Taxperts Lanka Private Limited, a company won the awards from ICTA Sri Lanka and BCS, the Chartered Institute for IT, for making the digital social impact to the taxation ecosystem in 2019. That's a great achievement. Damith. Ibon Damith. Welcome to the session.
Ibon, Prabhash, Ibon.
So for the discussion today, Damith will first explain the current tax system, and then we will move on to all relevant questions of participants asked during the webinar registration. And then we will take up the questions you would post from now onwards also as much as possible. Damith, as a start, could you please explain why there are tax systems in countries and why should we pay taxes? ඇයි අපි tax ගෙවන්න ඕනේ? මොකටද මේ tax system එකක් තියෙන්නේ රටක කියන එක? So can we start off with that, Damith?
Thank you, Prabhash. Mahitanne, very valid questions. Mahitan, timely, required thing you ask. We'll start the presentations. I'll answer your questions while I'm doing. And before start, I need to thank you and the Glenmore for giving this opportunity to make the country people aware about all these taxations at the moment. In Sri Lanka, the taxpayer education is at the very low level. So you are doing the great jobs for the country and the nationals and everyone for making these sessions presence all the social media. Right, I think you can see my presentation.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's begin. I'm today going to talk about all the taxation changes happen in the recent past. That means after elected new government or the president from December to last 22nd.
Damith, you have been muted.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Till 22nd June, all the cabinet decisions has been taken and changes has incorporated. All these things I'm going to share with you and how it is impacted. Now, Prabhash asked questions at the beginning. Why we need the tax, right? So then, actually, what is a tax? First, we need to see what is actually tax, right? Then before that, before we paying the taxes, right? In the world, we know that there are two things it's certain. Two things certain in the world. So if we born, then we know that it's a certain we need to die. At the same time, so before we born and while we are living in the world and even we are living from the world, we have to make a compulsory payment to the government. That is none other than taxes. So you can understand before you born, the paying taxes are started. Why we are paying the taxes actually? So it's my definition is that this is for the well-being of well-being and civilizations of the people. So we do something, we make a payment not for our own personal good, for a public good. That's the meaning of taxes which we are using, because we are getting connectivity everywhere, free of charge connectivity or free of charge services, and the good environment, good services at the concession rates. So for all these things, we need somebody to take care of this. In the world, there is a saying that there is no free lunch in the world, right? So therefore, what we make the payments is a compulsory payment, but we misunderstood there is a return in paying taxes. There is no return in personal. That is as a public, every one of us are getting benefited for paying taxes. I'm not talking about the duties is handled by our agents appointed to the parliament. That's a different matter altogether. But keeping apart that, so then the tax is what we paid for our well-being in the country. Now, when you are going to make a tax payments, I need to highlight a very important thing. Once you become a taxpayer in the taxation ecosystems, you are bound to do two things: pay the taxes, right amount of taxes, or no before the due date. That is not sufficient. That's one part of your tax compliance. The second part of your tax compliance is to file the tax return by on or before due date, by disclosing the correct amount of income and expenses. If you discharge these two duties, usually we consider as a compliant taxpayer. That is not end the story, but basically you are compliant, you are safe, right? So then keep in mind, once you are coming to the tax net or who are in the still tax net, the two things are mandatory to comply with taxes. I hope, and the one thing more, I need to say that highlighted, in Sri Lanka is a voluntary tax compliance like other countries. So it's our voluntary duty. And also today we talk about taxation as a social responsibility. It's a social responsible payment we are making to the government for our well-being. I hope that I clarify your answer, Prabhash.
Yes, Damith. Thank you. Yes.
In little I explain in Sinhala also. ටැක්ස් එකක් කියන්නේ මොකක්ද ඇත්තටම? ටැක්ස් එකක් කියන්නේ අපි වෙනුවෙන් අපේ යහපත වෙනුවෙන් අපි ගෙවන අනිවාර්ය ගෙවීමක්. අපි මේ ලෝකෙට බිහි වෙන්න කලින් එතකොට මේ ලෝකෙ තුල අපි ජීවත් වෙනකොට ඒ වගේම අපි මේ ලෝකෙන් යනකොට අපේ මරණය වෙන අවස්ථාවේ පවා දැන් අලුත් නීතිය අනුව අපි බද්දක් ගෙවන්නට ඕන. මේ බද්ද ඇවිල්ලා අපිට තියෙන හානිකාර දෙයක් නෙවෙයි, අපි අපේ පොදු යහපත වෙනුවෙන් සමාජයේ පොදු යහපත වෙනුවෙන් ගෙවන ගෙවීමක් තමයි බද්ද කියලා කියන්නේ. ඉතින් අපි දන්නවා මම පැහැදිලි කරන්න අවශ්‍යතාවයක් නැහැ දිගින් දිගට. අපි දන්නවා මොනවාද අපිට ලැබෙන සේවා අඩු මිලකට නැත්නම් නොමිලේ ලැබෙන සේවා. මේ සඳහා ගෙවන මිල තමයි බද්ද කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒ වගේම තමයි බදු දැලට ආවයන් පස්සේ නැත්නම් බදු ගෙවන්නේ වුණාන් පස්සේ ඔබට තියෙනවා කාරණා දෙකක් සම්පූර්ණ කරන්නට. එකක් තමයි නියමිත දිනට පෙර අදාළ නිවැරදි බදු මුදල ගෙවන්නට අවශ්‍යයි. ඒ වගේම තමයි බදු ගෙවනවා වගේම ඒක සම්බන්ධව වාර්තාවක් ඉදිරිපත් කිරීම අත්‍යවශ්‍ය වෙනවා. බදු දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවට මේ සම්බන්ධව විශ්ලේෂණය කළා තහවුරු කරගන්නට. එතකොට ඒ වාර්තාවේ වාගේ ආදායම ඒ වගේම වියදම නිවැරදිව සඳහන් කරන්න වෙනවා. එතකොට මේ මූලික කාරණා දෙක සම්පූර්ණ කිරීමෙන් ඔබ බදු අනුකූලතාවයට ලක් වූ බදු ගෙවන්නේ හැටියට මූලිකව අපිට පිළිගන්න පුළුවන්. එතනින් ඒක තව අවසන් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. නමුත් මූලිකව ඒක පිළිගන්නට පුළුවන්. right. මොන හරි ගැටලු තියෙනවා නම් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ප්‍රභාෂ් කිව්වා වගේ අහන්න පුළුවන්. අපි මේක ඉවරලා ඒක අපි සාකච්ඡාවට ගමු. හරි. What are the changes happen in the recent past which we affected? Because all of us are confused because of these changes. From when we started from December, as I told, up to the last cabinet meeting happened on 22nd June, there are several changes. When we analyze these changes in the genuine sense, it's a good for a society and it's good for every one of us. Some are confused, some not aware, some are aware about that, right? So if we run through what are these changes, one is every one of us know that withholding tax has been removed. We know that withholding tax or what WHT charge on the interest what we received from the our deposits, and when we receive the dividends, there were WHT, and when we receive the rent payment from the corporate or the business people, there were WT. And also, if he's received the service or contract payment more than 50,000, it was subjected to withholding tax. And then, not only that, when we receive the salaries, it was subjected to so-called pay-you-as-earn tax, PAY taxes. So all these things has removed effective from January 2020, 1st January 2020. At the same time, we were enjoy 15 million relief for a service provided to out of the country. As an individual and a partnership, every one of us enjoy this tax benefit. That also removed with these changes effective from January. And the other thing, our senior citizens were enjoyed 1.5 million interest relief on their interest per year. This also removed from 1st January 2020 onwards, but they are getting, every one of us getting more than the benefit what we enjoy prior to December 31st. But there is a confusion here now. There is confusion here because now though the that withholding tax or the 1.5 million has been removed from January onwards, the advice given by Commission General to bank has to be continued till 31st March, and there is a benefit anyway by deducting more than 1.5 million deducted at 5% is not harm actually when we see the calculation. And then the most important thing, every one of us are getting able to enjoy 3 million tax relief. In simple, or the 250,000 per month. In simple, we can earn 3 million per year or 250,000 per month without paying single cent of taxes to the government. I think that is a very, very good opportunity every one of us are getting as an individual. Not only that, further from recently from the April, further after this 3 million, government announced another relief called expenses relief up to 1.2 million. When you take all together, individual people can enjoy 4.2 million per annum tax relief. This is without paying single cent of taxes. You can earn 350,000 per month from any of the sources. This is not only the one source, which we are going to talk about later, 4.2 million per year. I will talk about what is the expenses relief later in the presentation. With all these together, we know that the rate of taxes also reduced. Earlier, what was the rate was 4% to 24%. At each 650 slabs, we were supposed to pay taxes at 4% to 24%. Now, that also has been reduced. Not only the tax has been reduced, the slab also increased. That means if you are having 4.2, let's say you are earning 7.2 million income, might be a different sources, salaries might be a business, interest, all together when we see 4.2 million, if you are managed to fulfill all this requirement expenses relief, you can go up to 4.2 million. Then the balance 3 million is subject to tax at 6%. So then the first 3 million, 3%, 6%, the second 3 million, 12%, balance as 18%. So obviously, if you are earning more than 10 million, 15 million, 20 million per year, you are paying very small tax amount per year compared to the previous years. So then you can do the analysis. That's a very good relief at the moments we are enjoying. And at the same time, they given the benefit for the terminal benefit which we are receiving at the terminations of our employment. Then up to 10 million, zero taxes. Then the next 10 million, 6%. The balance 10 million, balance at tax charge at the 18%. So this is the terminal benefit. There is a separate circular and guideline has to be followed in giving the terminal benefit and taxing the terminal benefit and the withholding tax applicability. And there are certain exemptions as well. Right. That is the general exemption or there are changes applicable for individual. Now, individuals are engaging in the partnership. When we are doing the partnership, we know that there is a very hustle tax called partnership withholding tax. At the time of we have to distribute the profit to the partners, and at the time of distributions, there were partnership withholding tax at 8%. This was a very cumbersome process. Now that has been removed. And also, as I told you, there were 15 million foreign service relief that also removed. I explained that. And with these changes, now they brought in new provisions, which is the partnership release 1 million. That means if a partnership is getting profit more than 1 million, they need to tax. They need to pay the taxes at 6%. So then 6% partnership tax, but since the partnership is not a legal entity, this will be distributed among the partners. Then after distributed the 6% among these partners, if there is a refund, you will not get the refund in cash, so that you have to carry it forward and set off again future tax payable. Right. These are the main changes applicable for us. And in general, we all know that from April onwards, PAY came with another label called Advanced Personal Income Tax. But this is not the mandatory scheme. You, as an employee, has to give the consent to your employer to deduct advanced personal income tax from your salaries. So that's the main condition has to be satisfied in deducting PAY taxes. So then the employers are relieved and they are very free from paying deducting advanced personal income tax unless they receive the consent from their employees. At the same time, we know that there are withholding tax other than the salaries. So now it is relabeled as an advanced income tax. But that is also not a mandatory requirement to deduct. Still, we need to get the consent from the recipient of interest, rent, and the royalties, natural resource payment, contract and service payment, and so on and so forth. But these are the applicable for resident. But when it comes to the non-resident, if you are making any payments to the non-resident person, you don't need to get the consent. It is straightforward. Whatever the applicable withholding tax has to be deducted and remitted to the Commission General of Inland Revenue. Now, one more thing I need to highlight it here, when we are going to adopt advanced personal income tax and the advanced income tax, you need to well aware about your tax liability, because by default, if you are going to, because of the sake of easy going and everything, if you apply these advanced personal tax scheme, there may be a refund situation. Now, at the moment, we are talking about the saving our cash flow. Cash flow is the managing cash flow is the most important factor at the moment. So then you need to get consultation. You need to get the consultation for your tax advisor, sit with him or her and analyze your tax liability and accordingly give your consent to your employer or bank, whatever, whoever it is, to deduct withholding tax or the advanced taxes on your income. The interest payment, if you are going to make a non-resident person, that is 5%. It is continue, no changes. Other payment to non-residents, 14%. No consent is required. It's a mandatory requirement. Now, when it comes to the exemption, there are exemption for interest received on the foreign currency deposits. This were earlier. Now that is again brought into the tax law. Now, another exemption, if you are receiving dividends or gain on realizing of shares in a non-resident company, you might be invested on non-resident companies, and if you want to sell your shares on at the non-resident companies, then if these are exempted, but you have to have a substantial ownership. That means more than 10% ownership you should have, voting right you should have in these non-resident companies. Now, other than that, sales of produce of undertaking agro farming, that also given the exemption. And information technology enabled services, they removed that. Then this also we had earlier. Now, service rendered to outside Sri Lanka for utilizing out. Now, if you are providing services to anybody to utilize outside, basically, if you are giving consultation services or any other services to the people outside Sri Lanka and receive the money in foreign currency, then this income is exempted for paying taxes effective from January 2020. So that's the important thing. This is against the whatever the foreign service relief, removal of foreign service relief. Now it came in another way, giving every one of us to enjoy this benefit. Then the one more, other than that, if you are getting income from any foreign sources in other country, not in Sri Lanka, that means you are getting foreign income from out of the country. That may be a different sources. Still, other than the services. Now, services, of course, there is exemption. Other than including services, if you are enjoying if you are getting any income from the countries out of Sri Lanka, then that is also exempted. And the laboratory service and standard certification services. And again, if any religious institutions getting grant and donations registered with the ministry, that is not relevant to you, but it is also there. But very important, all these are the web notices. This is not the law at the moment in the country. We know that we don't have the parliament to enact the law. These has to be enacted by way of act of parliament. Now, by the time when we enacted after August, probably once the new parliament is appointed, we need to see how these decisions, government policy decisions, will be changed in the new legal amendments. So then, so far, these are the notices only. This is not the validated or vetted knowledge by our lawmaker. Now, recently, as I told, last cabinet meeting was happening on 22nd June. In that meeting, there were another relief is given to the SME entrepreneurs. There is a word that problem, but we hope that this is the small and medium enterprises. These are given. One is the if you file the return up to 2018-19, there is no additional tax, so whatever arrears taxes are all waived off. So then every SMEs should now satisfy and enjoy that happy that up to 2018-19 there are no additional taxes or penalties, whatever it is. If there is no willful evasion, that has to be satisfied, and no additional taxes should be charged if any SMEs file their return of income and pay the taxes for the year of assessment 2018-2019, but return is yet to submit on November 30th. But last payment or the balance last payment also has been paid. If there is a balance, you have the time to pay on 30th September. If you fulfill all these requirements, no taxes or no additional taxes or penalties shall be charged by the Commission General. And the date is extended for paying taxes and the filing return for the period of from March 1st to June 30th. We know that there are certain taxes has to be paid and returns to be submitted. All these things extended till 31st December without any penalties. And there is another extensions given. Now we know that if there is a tax case, we need to, if we are going to the tax appeal commissions, we need to keep we need to give a bank guarantee or keep a non-refundable deposits. This period also extended. Now the thing is, there is a concession to pay the arrears taxes and deferred taxes. Now there may be certain things agreed with the Commission General for paying arrears taxes and the paying due taxes. So then these things, there may be a concessionary period for settlement of these. And the suspension of injunctions order. So then they are issuing injunctions order to the bank that has been suspended till 30th April 2021. I think this is all to uplift the SMEs affected by COVID-19 to get these people to develop these businesses. That's a whole genuine objective we see of giving these exemption. Right. Now, these are the things happen till today with regards to taxations in specifically individual. All these together, when you are becoming a taxpayer, there are certain challenges you have to face. What are the first challenges? Now, when you look at the tax law of the country, it is a mandatory requirement for you to open a tax file where your income is more than 250,000. එතකොට අද වෙනකොට අත්‍යවශ්‍යතාවයක් තියෙනවා අනිවාර්ය අවශ්‍යතාවයක් වෙනවා යම්කිසි කෙනෙකුට ලක්ෂ 2.5කට වඩා ආදායමක් මාසිකව ලැබෙනවා නම් බදු ගොනුවක් ලිපි ගොනුවක් විවෘත කිරීමට. ඉතින් බදු ලිපි ගොනුවක් විවෘත නොකළොත් මම හිතන්නේ අනාගතයේදී දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව විසින් ඒ සඳහා ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගන්නට නියමිතයි. ඒ සඳහා කටයුතු කරමින් ඉන්නවා. ඉතින් ලක්ෂ 2.5ට වැඩි ඕනම පුද්ගලයෙක් සඳහා බදු ලිපි ගොනුවක් තිබීම අත්‍යවශ්‍ය කාරණයක් වෙනවා. ඊළඟට then once you become a tax net or become a taxpayer, the first requirement is that to estimate your income taxes. So now we are going to pay the taxes on current year basis. So when you're going to make a taxes on current year basis, you have to file estimated tax return on or before August 15th. Now we are in the year of assessment 2020-2021. For this 2020 and 2021, we need to estimate our tax payable and submit the estimated tax return on or before August 15th. And the other thing, the tax law has been changed from 1st January. Therefore, last year estimate has been changed. Now, every one of us has to submit our estimated tax return for the period Jan to March. We can file the revised estimate, but still they're given 30th June. Hope with the new cabinet decisions, it will be extended, but new cabinet decision still not announced by the Commission General. Until Commission General announce, we can't follow these conditions because it has to be accepted by the Commission General about the decisions given by Cabinet on 22nd June. Another one is a very simple now. We need to happy that after decades, department is now fully automated, we can say, right? So there are certain things is happening, which is we are also supporting in digitalizing these tax paying systems and filing returns with the department. In the future, we may able to correct. Now you can make your payments online. There is an online payment facility because during the COVID-19 period, they activated this facility. Now you can enjoy. You don't need to go to bank. All these hassles is gone. Now directly, any one of you able to pay your taxes online. Then if you are employees, there is a new T10 form has been issued. Now you need to get, because to prove that your income tax payment from the PAY under the PAY schemes or under the APIT scheme, you should have a certificate. This is a certificate you need to have, and this is a mandatory requirement for employer to issue this certificate to their employees. And then declarations, if you are a primary employee or if you are a secondary employee, then you need to submit the declarations on the 1st April every year to your employer to identify whether you have any other employments. So accordingly, they can decide your income tax rate. And then we know that last year that tax has been changed. Because of that, the department came up with different computations method applicable for Jan to March, but from April onwards, it's not applicable because it's a law, whatever given in the notices applicable from April onwards. So for this year, there is no computation method change. It was applied to the year 2019-2020. Right. Okay. Now, you know the background. How these tax payable income incidents happen now. Now you need to know, do I need to pay the taxes? How I need to pay taxes? On what I need to pay the taxes? Basically, you need to pay the taxes if you have a taxable income from a different sources. Now you might be getting income from different sources. It might be your employment income. You might be having the salaries or allowances or other benefits, and you might be running a business. You might be having sole proprietorships. So you're getting the business income in that situation. And also you might be doing a consultancy as a professional. So these professional services also is coming to your business income. Or you might be a vocational services you might be giving, right? As a singer, dancer, or a cricketer, whoever it is. Then these are the vocational service. All these things we consider as a business income. Then you might be getting those things. And you might be having investment. You might be having rent income. You might be having royalties, or these invest on the bank. You get the service interest income. All these things we call as the investment income. Whatever not into these basket, we call as the other income. All this together, we need to see whether you have the taxable income. If you have a taxable income, then you are required taxable income, and then you need to basically liable for paying taxes. Other than that, if you are receiving final withholding tax, then this also should liable for taxes. Simply with final withholding tax in, if you are receiving interest and the bank deducted 5%, and these interest may not be liable for paying taxes again, then in such a situations, this interest we consider as a final withholding payment. At the moment, there is no such situation, but there are certain other things. But basically, now we need to consider whether you have taxable income, and out of any of these or combinations of these together. Now, if you are having these income from employment, business, investment, other sources, then your duty is to assess the taxable income. When you are assessing taxable income, you are basically allowed to deduct two things. One is the qualified payments and the tax relief. Your total income is not liable to pay taxes. We are saying taxable profit. The profit is income minus expenses. So then the income, then the certain expenses you deduct when you are going to calculate the business income. You have the income, then the business income expenses are there. After that, you are going to get the profit from these business activities. Now, altogether, you are going to get the certain income. So income amount we call as this assessable income. So then from the assessable income, we are going to deduct qualified payments and relief to get our taxable income. Then that small portions of amount out of your total earning will be subjected to taxes. That's the basic simple theory of calculation, the taxable income. Now, there are a lot of legal implications applicable. That's why always you need to tie up with your tax advisor, because this is a professional job. Otherwise, you will be charged penalties for negligence and misconduct. So I will highlight it, what all this together, what all this all about. Then what are the employment income? Now, first thing is the employment. Now, when you're having the employment income, if you do the job, basically you are getting the salaries. Then salaries in the tax law break into the different parts. What is the regular employment income? Regular employment income is your salaries. Monthly, you are getting the basic salaries and allowances all together. We call as the regular employment income. Lump sum payment, you might be getting commissions, you might be getting bonuses. All this we call as the lump sum payment. For some period, you get the one payment. That's why we call lump sum payment. And non-cash benefits. Sometimes your employer might be provided vehicle at a free of cost, or resident facility at a free of cost. These are we call as a non-cash benefit. Why? There is no cash involvement. Other than that, you get the facilities. Then the terminal benefit of once and for all payments. Now, at the terminations, you will get the gratuity. Or if you are now these days COVID-19, some companies are facing difficulties. They lay off the employees. Now you will get the VRS or gratuity or compensations. Those things we call as the once and for all payment. Payment third party. On behalf of you, company might be paying to the third party. Now let's say your children are going to the international schools. So then your children's international school fees is paid by your employer. That also is a benefit because of you are not going to make a payment to them. Then they will directly pay as a part of your package. Then that also you need to consider. Discharge or reimbursement of expenses. Now, this is not the expenses reimbursed by employer on that expenses incurred on behalf of them. Now, you might need to travel from office to client base to have a client meeting or some other purpose. Then you will be reimbursed. First you spend and then you will reimburse. This is not the things they talk about. Something you reimburse for a benefit of yourself or your family. Let's say you have hospitalized or your family member is hospitalized. Then you spend this money and then later your employees reimburse these expenses. Then this reimbursement amount considered as a employment income. Then the capacity restrictions payment. Now let's say you are getting the opportunity to join another competitive firm or some other company with a good package. In such a situations, what happens? You are going to leave from basically this company. Then company might be saying that, okay, you might be signed the agreement with your current employer, certain conditions, and based on that you will get the payment. These payments is considered as a capacity restrictions. Basically, they restrict to leave from the company. Then that payment, or in turn, if you are getting some amount in payments because of you agreeing these conditions, these call as the capacity restrictions payment and consider as an employment benefit. So those are the basically whole these type of things summarized to different headings. If you are receiving any of these things or similar payments, then that is considered as an employment income. Investment income, simply we know that most of things, dividends, if you have the shares, definitely we will get the dividends. If they are having the profits, then that is a investment income. Interest income, fixed deposits, saving accounts, whatever. Discount charges, annuities. So if you're having any annuities, any court cases and the court advice to pay the compensations, then charges will come. And the discount, natural resource payment, if you're having if you are giving the land to mine that gems or whatever it is, extract the mineral, and then those things, if you are getting the payments for giving this land, is a natural resource payment. Rent, of course, if you are giving your house, vehicle, rooftop, whatever things, rent, there is a wider definition. And premium and royalties, we know that royalties, premium, if you have rented out your house and if you are getting the key money, is a obviously premium. gains from realization investment assets. If you are selling your properties, if you are selling your shares, then when there is a gain on that's realizations, it will be subject to tax. That's at a 10%, not the normal income tax. So then similarly, there is a restrictions, capacity restrictions payment here. So you might be putting restrictions to invest in some other activities. Then if you're getting some benefit out of that, then that also has to be considered. And if you are receiving and winning lotteries and gambling, all these things are considered as an investment income. Other than that, business income you might be receiving, as I explained that, you might be getting the business income from conducting carrying out the business or conducting a business, or professional services, trade, business, profession, or a vocations you are having, then all these things is considered as a business income. Now you have the three sources. Other sources is very rare, but if you see the main three sources and receive the income, and if it is about 250,000 per month, then you are liable to pay taxes. Now, when you are calculating this, when you are prepare calculation of tax liabilities, you need to consider you are eligible to deduct two things I told. The qualified payments. The qualified payments is nothing but donations you made to the approved charity. Make charity කියන්නේ ඔක්කොම අපිට තියෙන පුණ්‍ය ආයතන වලට නෙවෙයි. So then there should be a specific purpose. This charity has to be should conduct specific things. This is provide institutionalized care for sick and needy people. ඉතින් මේ අත්‍යවශ්‍ය කාරණයක් සඳහා මොනවාද රෝගාතුර වූ නැත්නම් මේ අවතන් වූවන්ට මොනවාද පහසුකම් සපයන ආයතනයක් වෙන්නට නම් පුණ්‍ය ආයතනය. ඒ නිසා මොකද්ද ආගමික ස්ථානයකට හෝ වෙනත් පුණ්‍ය ආයතනයකට රෙජිස්ටර් වුණ ආයතනයට ඩොනේෂන් එකක් දුන්නා කියලා හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ ඩිඩක්ෂන් එකක්. So if you make these donations 1/3 or 75,000, you can deduct. So this is way, if you are not happy to pay the taxes, this is a way you can enjoy your benefit and your money, you know that definitely is going to the right place. So then the one way, and the other way, the donations in money or otherwise to any government or government institutions. Now at the moment with the COVID-19, there are a lot of difficulties faced by the hospitals and schools. If you are donating these institutions, then you are going to get 100% deduction. Right? තනිකර තමන්ගේ tax එක අඩු වෙනවා. If you are going to remit the money for a public good through the controller, then you are having the doubt. Then why not exercise this as a social responsibility service? Give the money through the donation, so you can enjoy this bit. But make sure that you have the proper receipt and make sure that these are eligible to deduct it. Then your tax payments also again reduce it. Other than that, I told there are different relief available. One is the personal relief. We talk about 3 million, the tax relief. That's the personal relief we talk about. And then if you are renting out your property, then on top of the income, you are eligible to get 25% deductions as a rent relief. Expenses relief, I talk about, there is relief up to 1.2 million. We'll see what are these things. Expenses relief. One is the health expenditure. Now, government wants the very healthy people to run the economy. That's the very obvious principle. I think very good intention. To have a healthy people, you need to spend money to maintain your health. Then if you are contributing the medical insurance policy, or else if you are having spend some expenses to hospital or PD or doctor consultations or operations, whatever it is, because it's not defined, just a notice only. We need to see how they are wording in the law. But at the moment, it seems that whatever health expenses relevant to you, not to your family, it's a expenses incurred by taxpayer himself for the maintain his health condition. Other than that, there is another new relief expenses you can deduct is education expenses. Now, similarly, healthy people, healthy workforce, and educated workforce. So then education expenses incurred locally for your knowledge enhancements or upskilling your skills, and then your children's. If you are spending, if your children is going to the tuition or national schools, private school, universities, might be private or government in Sri Lanka, then the expenses can be deducted. Most important thing you need to keep in mind, these are expenses relief. To claim these, you should have a first tax file and you should have evidences. You should support with the evidence of the expenses. Then you are relieved from issues. And housing loan interest. These we were had sometimes back. Some one of may enjoy this benefit. Again, they introduced housing loan. If you are taking the housing loan to construct the house, then interest component can be deducted as a relief. Then contribution to an approved pension scheme. This is intention is to give the deductions for contributions made to the certain pension schemes. Now we know that our people are aging, so we are having the huge aging population, so we don't have the strong social security system in the country. For that, now you can contribute to the any of pension scheme available. If these pension schemes are approved by the Commission General, yes, of course you can deduct it. And if you are investing on shares and equities, equity, shares and securities, now we need to, there is a lot of issues in the access to finance by these SMEs. I hope this to support that this is came into the law. When you are investing on these companies, then you are eligible to deduct this investment. We had earlier sometimes back investment relief, but these were different places in the previous law. Now all this combination, all this combined together, and they introduce as a expenses relief. Keep in mind, total is up to 1.2 million. Either one items or amalgamating all these items per annum 1.2 million, or a year or a month 100,000. So these are good benefit, so you can enjoy that as well. Right, now you know that basically what is your tax and how you need to do all these things. What's your way forward if you are not a taxpayer at the moment? First thing first, you need to open an income tax file. It's a very simple. Now I told you that department is now online. You can make request through the online to make a open a tax file. It's a very simple way, but if you are not conversant and if you have any doubt or any issues, always better to tie up with tax consultant and get things done to have a proper way, because this is a law involved end of the day. You can't say I don't know the law. It's a normal thing that everyone should make aware about the law of the land. So therefore there may be a mistakes and there may be a hustle. To avoid that, always tie up with the tax consultant. And once you become a taxpayer, first thing you need to estimate your tax payable and file the estimated return to the department. And every quarter you need to make a tax payment. If you are a tax payable, then it has to be made in 4-quarter installment. You know that there are certain principles we have to observe. Because of that, then it has to be done in such a way. Then you can elect advanced tax deductions, whether it is a file the set. I told you estimated return has to be filed on August 15, and installment payment, you have to make a payment. First installment you need to pay August 15. It is about to pay now, first installment for this year, and November 15, February 15th, and May 15th. Then balance payment. Now after you paid 4 installments, still if you see there is a balance, then you have another opportunity to settle the payment on September 30th. After all these things done, you have the final ritual to complete for taxation is filing the return on November 30th. That's the most important thing. You need to maintain the records. If you not maintain the records for that, then there will be a penalty. So you have to maintain, keep it all the evidences regarding your taxes. So this is the things you need to do. And then if you are not done it, then the government getting additional income by your penalties, not obtaining registrations for payment of taxes, 50,000 penalties straightforward they will charge. Then if the Commission General or any officers asked to provide any information, there will be 1 million penalties. Usually what we see, if the department send the letter, then simply what you're putting into these documents to the dustbin. Simply you are putting this document to dustbin is cost 1 million, keep it in mind. Then the delay interest. Now if you are delaying making interest tax payments, then the 1.5% compounding interest they will be charging. Late payments. Now, if you are delay or late, then every 30 days they will charge on the scratch after 40. You are giving the 14 days to settle the payment after due dates. If you not make the payments within these 14 days, 20% first they charge, and every 30 days they will add 10% as a penalties. Then if you are not filed a return on time, it might be a estimated return, income tax return, different returns are there in the Income Tax Act, then the penalties go up to 400,000 depending on your income and the period. Then if you file incorrect, that's why I'm always saying that tie up with the tax consultant, because these are different professional jobs, right? Then they get the benefit. Don't pay any additional payments. Don't go to make to the government, because these are hard-earned money. Therefore, if you have done any mistakes or incorrect return filing, 25% penalties on tax unpaid. Or if the tax unpaid is more than 10 million, 75% is the penalties. I told you to maintain the records. If you not maintain the records, then the 1,000 per day they charge as the penalties until you show the documentation, right? This is all about. I think you might got the message. I hope that I communicated. Anything is there, so I'm open for discussions and clarify. So questions, over to you, Prabhash.
Okay, thank you very much, Damith. So we have received some questions during the registration process. So the first one, Mohammed Nazir, it's your question. I do not have an income tax file. So how do I obtain same to register myself? How to open an income tax file? That's the first question.
Right, I think Damith. I have explained it also. When you open the income tax file, it's very simple. You can make a request through the e-service in the income tax. If you can go to the website of the income tax department, there is a e-service. Through the e-service, you can request to open the tax file. Only you need to attach your NIC copy. If you are having an address of the NIC is different from the current address, then you have to attach the proof of address. That's only you need to do. Then they will send the PIN certificate and PIN number to your email. Then you can proceed there onwards. But still, if you have the difficulties and problems, you can do this through your tax advisor.
Okay, Damith. Thank you. Then second question from Vijay. Vijay, are there any software apps to support the tax relating activities? Any apps or software related to tax activities?
Yes, I think you highlighted at the beginning also. I was highlighted in the country. First time we make these digitalizations, we brought in tax computations. So Taxperts app we have released now. Near soon we are going to release the mobile applications for individuals. You can use that, or else you can use the web application to compute and prepare your income tax returns. So it's available in our country. We are the first one to make this available in the country. If you need any clarifications or anything, you can write to us, or you can call to us through our numbers.
Yeah, I think that received 2 awards for that application, I suppose. That's what I've seen. Yes. So that's a great initiative. So thanks, David. And then another question, that is there any tax relief for the OPD medical treatments? If you take some outpatient kind of a medical treatment, so is it covered under tax relief?
I think I explained that there is expenses relief. Under the expenses relief 1.2 million, there is a category called health expenses. Now, this is not defined what is a health expenses. If OPD also is a health expenses. Now, in the sense, accordingly, you can claim your health expenses, not your family OPD expenses under this expenses relief.
Okay, thank you. And then some other questions we've received through the chat box personal. So one is if APIT paid in excess, can we go for a refund in a kind of a situation like that?
Yes.
Shall I read the question again, or?
No, it's okay. Now, certain cases, what happened? Now, that's why I asked, okay, you need to sit with your tax consultant and decide whether to go for APIT scheme or not. Certain cases, if you go for APIT scheme, there are refund situation. Now, when the refund is there, you can claim the refund, or else you can carry it forward and set off against the future income tax payable. That's depend on the department and you, how you are going to negotiate the refund settlement. Yes, of course, you can claim it as a refund.
Okay. Then another question, if a partner in a partnership, in addition to partnership share of profit, having other source of income, and the tax paid is more than his liability, whether he can go for a refund or carry forward situation.
Now it's like this. Now you might be having the income from partnerships. That's a profit from the partnerships, and then you might be having some other investment income or some other consultancy income. You need to pay the taxes. Now this refund generated arise because of you are claiming partnership tax payments. Then of course no refund is you can claim. You have to carry it forward and set off against future income tax payable. Now, this refund is arise because of other cases, then you can claim the refund. Then they will settle the refund due after assess your return filed.
Okay, right. The next question, what are the challenges which are facing in implementing online tax payment system similar to Singapore system? The
Challenges in, yeah, I guess I don't know which side is talking about. Now in the country, one side tax department has implemented tax system. Now that is the first expenses regulator or the tax administrator has implemented or automated tax filing. Then the first time we make these computations of taxes. So then the tool side is there. If the tax department, there are a lot of difficulties, and because when you look at the administrator automating the taxation systems, well, very famous tax system is the ATO's model, Australian models, right? So, but I guess our people not follow these things. There are a lot of shortcomings. They are improving that. I hope in the future they will be address all these shortcomings in the RAMIS, we call as the revenue administrations and revenue admission and income management system. That will be they will address it. Now, when you come to the outsiders from the folk like us, then the connectivity, we need to get the connectivity. Then the taxpayers get the seamless service from filing the return and paying the taxes through the applications which we are providing for taxpayers. Like other countries, there is, when you go to the USA, as you highlighted Singapore, other countries, those applications is available. Then the taxpayer can use these applications to pay and file the return through this application. Then this is directly connected that outside applications with the RAMIS systems. I think time to come, hope that government will consider in giving these access.
Thanks, Ali. So some open questions. So Shahani Marcus, where can we find a list of approved charitable organizations? You talked about the charitable organizations. So is there any possibility that people can see, okay, these are the approved list of charitable organizations?
Yes, I think there is a gazette published by the department, the approved charitable organizations. I believe it might be available in the website as well. Otherwise, the gazette notification, I hope that they are publishing, department publishing, this is on the website. All these charitable are available on.
And Tarindu, it's your question. Yeah, variable income, something like that. What if the monthly income of a given month is rupees 400,000, but for the year the total income is less than 3 million? So what would be the situation?
A good question. Now, because of the variability, right? Now, let's say his income is less than, I guess I understand. I guess his income is less than 250. Once in while, his income is going to the 400,000 because of variable payments. Now, such a situations, what we have to do, there is no actually tax situations. That's when we are applying the APIT, then here there may be a disadvantage for you. Now, if you are not apply APIT, then there is no tax payable, because when you see the cumulative income for a year is less than 3 million, then there is no tax payable arise on you.
Okay. Right. Thanks. Then question from SM. So can expenses for fitness or yoga gyms or trainers be included under health expenditure? Like sometimes you go for yoga classes and for gym expenses. So can these be?
It's a very, very good question. So then we thought that, okay, this is for the maintaining health, right? Now,
Yeah.
in the general sense, health expenses we call as the medical expenses we pay to the hospital or doctors. Now, this is also part of the health expenses. Now, since there is no clear definitions and the law is enacted at the moment, so we can't say that it is the way the department will accept it. Yes, you can argue it. That, if the department in the view that these also required to maintain your health, then definitely it will. We have to wait and see.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. And then Shivakumar is asking some examples. Expenditure purchase shares. Can you give some examples? Expenditure purchase shares.
That is the, now let's say these are the, this also again is an open thing, a debatable thing. What is the purchase of equity, finance equity? Now, if you are purchasing shares through the share market, then you might invest certain money. Then this expenses called as the purchase of shares or the equity. And you might be investing on the private limited companies. Let's say there is a startup. Then you are going to invest on this startup. Then definitely they will issue the shares to you. Then this amount you can claim as the expenses relief. I guess you clear. Basically, when you are investing on companies, and in turn you will get the equity shares. So then such a situations you have in the share certificate, then this is the evidence for claiming expenses. So then you are getting the, basically you receive the shares from a private company or any company through the private equity or through the share market.
Yeah. So Anjali has asked this question. Suppose a taxpayer paid his or her children's Jan to March school fee in December 2019. So the payment to be made for the period of Jan to March, but the person has paid it in December 2019. So can he or she claim it as an expense relief in 2019-20 period?
Now, Prabhash, all these legal notices or the notices came very late. Therefore, the taxpayer didn't have opportunity to organize their tax compliance matters. So, of course, sometimes they may pay in advance, all these people. But this is applicable now. They are saying paid in Jan to March. Now, since the law is not clearly adopted, I believe that you can claim, because these expenses are relating to Jan to March period. Yes, even though you paid in advance, it should be, should eligible to claim that.
Okay. Dayal, basically your question, even though APIT is applicable currently, but awareness on personal income tax is lacking among majority of taxpayers. Can't we have modules on taxation, especially in non-financial programs conducted by professional institutions like IPM, IESL, etc.? So something that, yeah, it's a good question.
I think is excellent, because as I highlighted at the beginning, now in the country, when we see the tax compliances is a very low. Now, normally we have the 100 above companies, but 50% of the companies are registered for tax purpose. Out of that, less than 50% is compliance, right? And when you see the other, we have the 8.2 million workforce in the country, but we have the previously we had the 600 people only paying PEY taxes. And we have 1 million, nearly 1 million business entities. Out of that, 200 tax files only we had in the country. Now, because why this is a very pathetic situation in the country when you see the statistics. Now, why all this? Because the lesser taxpayer awareness is a taxpayer education in the country is at very low level. If these professional institutions like you, Glenmore, or some other organizations can conduct awareness, more awareness, but this is cannot be done department itself. We can't blame to the tax administrator. That is, they can't do that. They need to collaborate with other people like professional bodies and all the training and the institutions to make aware the tax law changes and the simplifications, simplify the filing and paying taxes. Then of course, we can increase the compliance statistics in the country. I think that thank you bringing these questions. Hope you are from the AAT. You can also involve in doing these things for the benefit of professionals and the nationals in the country.
Yeah, thank you, Damith. I think that's a good suggestion. So well, let's see. I mean, now a lot of virtual programs are also happening. So not the physical interaction. So I think this could be something a doable thing for the benefit of the people. Yeah. All right, then we'll take this as the last question. So many other questions, but yeah, the retirement benefits. Retirement benefits are taxable at two different ways. One from APIT table 3 and other normal income tax rate, which could be used. Shall I read the question again?
It's okay.
Retirement benefits. Okay.
I got the point.
Okay, right.
Now, it is not the different ways the retirement benefits are taxing. You need to understand if you are receiving retirement benefits, there is a requirement by the Commission General to deduct APIT, Advanced Personal Income Tax. If it is the usually uniquely applicable schemes, then 12% is the rate has to be deducted. Now, this is not the deductions. You need to get the directions from Commission General and submit to the department whether it should be 0 rate or any other applicable rate depending on your total income. That is still is an advanced tax. If it is deducted, is an advanced tax. That is not the final tax. Then when you're going to compute your final income tax payable, then you need to see whether this retirement benefit is taxable. As I highlighted, up to 10 million, there is no tax. About the next 10 million is a 6%. Now, this is, let's say you got the 20 million retirement benefit, then 6%, the 10 million has to be deducted only out of 20, 10 million only subject to tax, then it is at 6%. If you did, if your employer deducted APIT, then you can deduct it. So that is not the two taxes. The one is, first one, APIT is the advanced tax. Of course, this can be get the credit. If you don't have the tax file, then you need to go to the tax department. Anyway, even you have the tax file, still you have 90 days to go to the tax department and get the directions and furnish to your employer to act upon it, whether to deduct, not to deduct. So that's the way. So there is no two different ways in taxing the retirement benefit. I hope that clarifies the questions.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Damith. And so let's stop here for the questions. And Damith, thank you so much. You explained a highly technical area in a very simple manner, in a way any layman can understand. Thanks again, Damith. Done a superb job. So colleagues, hope you have gained a lot from this session. So if you need any customized training of this nature or any of the topics we covered during our previous webinars, please talk to the Glenmore team. So this is one of the Glenmore specialized areas they master. So we will share this video on glenmore.lk/YouTube and then Facebook and in LinkedIn for those who want to listen it again or for those who have missed the session also. So give us about 4 to 5 days. So this will be available on glenmore.lk/YouTube. and then we will post it in Facebook and LinkedIn also. So please follow the Facebook page or the LinkedIn page of Glenmore, so then automatically you will get this notification. So with this 10th webinar, and we will not meet you on a weekly basis hereafter for some period. Therefore, please get in touch with us. Please follow Glenmore Facebook page or LinkedIn page for the latest updates and the programs that we would conduct in future. So it will be easier for you. So we as a team wanted to support our people with what we have, with our strength in people development, with our internal and extended pool of resource persons during this pandemic period. We had a clear strategy for these 10 sessions we conducted. We wanted to first focus on you, yourself, and your family with some inspirational sessions to see things positively amidst the crisis situation without getting victimized. Sometimes what happens is we think, okay, this is the end of the whole world, and so we have the victim like behavior. So we wanted to move you out from that situation. So that is why we wanted to first focus on you, yourself, and your family through some inspirational sessions. Thereafter, we wanted to draw your focus on your organization and your team over there, your organization and your team. With the COVID situation getting better, our focus was on best practices and how to be a better, responsible individual, responsible citizen. We talked about labor and today on tax compliance. With all of these, we are indeed happy that we could touch thousands of lives positively, a few thousands of lives positively during this last 10 weeks. A special note of appreciation shall go to our resource persons who contributed immensely during these 10 weeks. That's Damika Kalapuge, who started off this webinar series, and then supported us by Ajit Javadana, Kapila Dudangoda, Teja Buddhika Rodrigo, then with Sam Trimavitan, then Jimmy Ong, and then Shalini Trivedi. So international speakers, Jimmy Ong from Malaysia and from Shalini from Harrison's Assessments, India. And then veteran Obadike Lilaratna, then Nalaka Hevamaduma, and then today Damith Gangodawilage, the tax expert, and who has been an award-winning personality. So thank you so much for all of your contribution. So listeners, thank you for joining with us and have a pleasant day. So stay safe. Goodbye for now.